Okay, this week we're dimensioning the architectural cottage project that we have, and there's confusion between the textbook and the videos, the publisher's videos, on the dim style settings. And what they are doing in both of the text in their videos is they're doing a standard type of dimension style and setting a scale to it. And so that, and this is I hate to say an old method, but it's an old method of AutoCAD dimensioning for architectural stuff. In that you make all your settings for what size you want your text to be, your arrowheads to be, things like that. And then you apply a scale to the dim style, and it will scale all of that up. And in the textbook, they use a scale of 48. In their videos, they use a scale of 24. But it comes out to be the same size text because they've changed the text height and the arrowhead sizes and things like that. And it's very confusing. I've worked through both methods, and it's not consistent. I don't know what's going on with the textbook. So we're going to do it differently, and this is the way that we do it in my architectural class, my regular architectural class, is we use an annotative dimension style. And if you were to take, if you have, or if you've taken my other classes, in architecture we use annotative style. In a few of the mechanical drawings, when we're doing a different scale other than a 1-to-1, or it's just if it's an unusual circumstance on mechanical drawing, we use annotative style. You only use annotative when you're dimensioning in model space. So to begin with, I need you to create a couple of new layers. Let me just go into my layer properties. Create a dimension layer and make it the same color. I don't know, because I started this particular file a few years ago. Your colors may be different. They should be what you had from the textbook back when you drew this cottage a couple of weeks ago. So if your colors are, if my colors are a little different from the textbook, don't freak out about it. But yours should be consistent with the textbook. Create a dimension layer, make it the same color as your text layer. Okay, which in our case is green. Okay. And then it should be a continuous line type, not a problem. Create a dimension offset layer. We're going to use this like a construction layer. You go ahead and make it yellow and set it to no plot. Okay. Now let's look at our dimension style. So go to the Annotate tab, and you can see in here I created both the Arch 24 and the Arch 48. Trying to figure out where they went wrong. You don't have to create either of those. We're going to create a new annotative dimension style. And so let's go new, and new style. I'm going to call it Arch Annotative, and I want you to start with the standard annotative style, and then check the box right here for annotative. Okay, and then continue. And so let's go first to units, because we want to set our units to architectural, precision at 1/16 inch, fraction as not stacked. Let's see what else. Down here, zero suppression, we want to suppress 0 feet. Okay. Next, let's go to symbols and lines, or symbols and arrows. We want to change these first two arrowheads to architectural tick. Okay. Leader, we want the arrow size to be 1/8 of an inch. No center marks. That's all good on that one. So let's go to lines. Extend beyond ticks will be 1/16 inch. Baseline 3/8 inch. Extend beyond dim lines 1/16 and offset from origin 1/16. All right, so let's go to text. Should be standard text style, but I want you to check it and make sure it is still Stylus BT. If not, change the font name to Stylus BT. Text height should be 1/8 of an inch. Text placement should be above, centered left to right, 1/16 inch offset, and then aligned with dimension line. Okay, now on fit, these are fine here. We want to make sure annotative is checked right there. And so that's got our dimension style that we're going to be using. So let's make it current and then close that. Now, on your status bar options over here, if you don't have these two triangle scale buttons there, come in here and turn on annotation visibility and annotation monitor. Turn both of those on, and then click both of the buttons to turn them on. Okay. Now let's go back to our model space, and we want to offset the exterior walls and oh wait, let me change my layer to the dimension offset that we created. Now we'll go with our offset, and we want to change the layer to current, and now then our distance is going to be 27 inches. Now let's select all four of the exterior side of the walls and go to the outside of those. And that gives us a place to put our first dimension. Okay, because you remember back we were doing in the mechanical drawings, we were making them 0.4 out. Well, this is just a quick and easy way to get the first row of dimensions to the right place. So I'll switch back to my dimension layer. Let's go to the Annotate tab, make sure Arch Annotative is set, and let's go with a linear dimension. And here we set our annotation scale. And we want to set it at 1/4 inch equals 1 foot, because that is the scale that we're going to be, that's our viewport scale for this particular, which is pretty common in architectural drawings. So we'll say OK. And we'll go corner of the wall to midpoint of the window, and then bring it out and snap it on that yellow line. Now, if your window tag is in the center of the window, I really would prefer you to move it to the left just a little bit. And the reason being is that our default in AutoCAD is that dimensions are associative, meaning that if we were to, let's say we were to move this window a couple of inches to the left or right after we have dimensioned the drawing, if our dimensions are associative and they are tied to that window, the dimension will update and change with it. But if your dimension is tied to the window tag, it won't change if you move the actual window. It only changes if you move the window tag. Okay. Now, when in our architectural class, we have some different ways of dealing with it. At this point, I would prefer you move your window tag over to the side and dimension to the center of the window. All right. And now we'll use the continue and get the rest of those across. And so now let's do a dimension baseline and select this first dimension and then go to the far corner. Okay, so that's got, and make sure you're picking the, for the interior walls, make sure you're picking the same points as it shows in the textbook there in the chapter. All right, and so you'll do the same thing coming down this side, coming down this side. I want to show you the door here at the bottom, and we use a unique object snap. And so I'm going to go edge of the wall, and then I have to do the shift right click option to get it, because I want this mid between 2 points. That's the only place that one is shows up in AutoCAD. So I select it, mid between 2 points, and I select the two edges of the door, and then that gives me the correct dimension across there. And the reasoning for this, if a door is placed in the corner of a room, we don't dimension it, because the carpenters, the framers, they know that distance is supposed to be approximately 4 inches. Okay, and so that's just a given, a normal standard within the industry. Usually, if the door is in the center of a wall, left to right, there's not a dimension applied to it. It's just understood to be in the center. But in this case, we are going to dimension that one. This one we're dimensioning because it's more than 4 inches off of the corner. Okay, and then we'll continue on with the rest of the dimensions across there. And in architectural dimensioning, we dimension all the way through in a chain. It's different from mechanical drafting. Okay, it's different, so we dimension all the way through, and then we apply an overall length dimension on all 4 sides. Come on, my command is not picking up. There we go. And let's see, this one is to the closet side. It didn't work right, because I was trying to go forward with okay, and you'll do the same thing down the other side. Now the closet here, it really can't get a good distance offset from that, so I'm just going to go midpoint of the closet there, and I can get a midpoint there. That would be fine. And I can place it, and you can see I don't like where that thing is, so I want to move it more to the inside, and then move the whole thing down just a little bit. I have to turn off my object snap to get it to move. Oh, but that let go of it. All right, let me delete that. Start over. Let's just go ahead and go corner to corner, and that will put my text on the good side. And then we'll repeat that and go center of door, so we'll have to do the shift right click midpoint again. place it, and now I want to move my text over just a little bit, because I really don't want, this stuff is looking big. Anyway, I really don't want any text over lines for the closet or the shelving or things, okay? And so now let's go to our paper space and take a look at things. And let's check our height with a line command. Okay, 1/8 inch text, all right, that's good. If you did not fill in your window schedule last time, fill in your window schedule. Fill in your title block. Okay, let me update my date from the last time I did this project. Okay, and then that's looking. Oh, well, I still have to dimension down the side. You're gonna do all 4 sides of the building, and an overall dimension on all 4 sides. Okay, so that's looking good. You'll save your project. Oh, yeah, turn off. Go ahead and turn off that dimension offset layer so it's not visible, just in case. Yeah, that's looking good. So if you have a problem, send us an email, come by the lab, get some help, do this up, save it, and submit it in Blackboard. And we'll come back in a couple of weeks and do some more work on this particular project.